Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. If you are looking for how to create stunning and interactive forms for your website without writing a single line of code, you are in the right place. Today we'll be diving deep into Framer Forms, which is a native tool for building custom forms that are beautiful and functional. And in this tutorial I'll be showing you everything you need to know to create, customize and integrate Framer Forms like a pro. Hi there, my name is Praise. You're welcome back to the channel and let's get started. For those that don't know what Framer Form is a game changer for anyone building websites in Framer. What this does is that it helps you create a fully functional, interactive form directly in Framer no-code ecosystem. You can collect user data, integrate with tools like Google Sheets or emails, and customize every aspect of this form to match your brand. And I'll be showing you step by step in setting up your form. First thing first, to bring out a form in Framer, you head on to the insert menu. You can either search it from, this is it right here, or you scroll down to the section where you see forms. It's still the same thing. So you can either drag this, put on your design, any way it works. So I'll just be doing this and boom, you have got your default form ready to be customized. Moving to the basic anatomy of this form, it is wrapped in a vertical stack. Of course, it's going to be a stack to maintain responsiveness. Then on the layers panel, it's made up of labels. You can see this L icon here is just a special L to note there is a label. Then on the labels, we have the name, which is the header of the input, and we'll have the input, which bears the placeholder. The last thing here is the button, which is the submit button you are seeing here. But there's something really interesting I want to show you now, because if you look at the layers panel here, you will see that this button here is a component. Now let's see what lies behind the component canvas. So double click to access the component canvas. You will notice a lot going on here. We have the primary state, the hover state, the press state, and it doesn't just end there. You have the loading state, the disable state, the success state, and as well the error state. So you see how easy Framer made it for us to use form, because they did all the background work. We don't need to set up any component. It's already embedded there for you to use. All you have to do is just to bring out your form, customize it to what best fits your brand, then you're ready to go. After walking through the basic anatomy of forms, let's go in depth in customizing this form. So you can head on to your properties and you can add a fill here. So this nicely adopts if you are working with a white theme. But since we are working with a black canvas, we can change it down to black, but not overly to black. But if you are designing yours and you feel like, yeah, a white background is good for a black frame, you are okay to go and you are free to use that. So let's just change it to black, but not overly to black. So we can work with something like this. Yeah, this is good to roll. So let's talk about inputs. Framer Forms support over 10 input styles. You have access to choose a text input, a select input, a checkbox input, a video input, and it doesn't just end there. For this particular input, you will see on the properties menu that it also have like almost 6 types you can apply to it. So you have the text area, which gives space for a message. Other types here gives you access to change it to an email, a number, a phone number, a URL, a date, time, and so on. To add an input, you select the overall frame, then you see this plus that you have here. So when you click the plus, you now have access to choose the type of input you want to apply on the form. So let's assume we want to put a checkbox that will allow users to subscribe to our newsletter. We can also do that. Let's just click the checkbox. And when we preview this, you will see it's fully functional. So if I was to click subscribe to the newsletter, the checkbox works perfectly. We can also choose to customize each input on this form. So if I want to change the placeholder, all you have to do is just to come here and put in the placeholder that you want to put. So let's assume the information we want to fetch is to allow the user to input their registration number. So you can change the placeholder to maybe enter registration number. So when you're bringing up placeholders, just because you have the access to set up a placeholder doesn't mean you should set up any placeholder that comes to your mind. You really have to be concise so that it can be easily recognizable on the search engine. So by changing this to enter registration number, we can also change the name of it to registration number. So you can now see that everything that we did here reflected on the form. But let's do something interesting by adding an effect to when this our input is clicked. To add effect to our label, you just have to select it, go to the properties, and on this last menu you will see effect. Let's click this, drag this up here. I'll be adding a fill color just for the background of the placeholder. So let's go with a dark one, something like this. So this dark blue is okay to roll. Let's move on into the next by adding shadows to it to create that glow effect I'm looking for. So activate this, add a shadow, add a color. Then I will move on by adding the same light blue that we use for the placeholder background. So let's just go with something lighter. So select this and raise out the opacity to 100 pixels. Next up, I will change the X and Y values to 0. Let's just change the Y value down here. I'll be raising the blur to 30. Then we'll be going with a spread of -10 because I don't want it to be that obvious. So -10. So this looks very simple and minimal. Let me show you guys what we just did. So by previewing this, when I select this placeholder, you will see this nice glow effect when we click the particular text input. You can also apply that to other text inputs. On this last placeholder, it gives you the access to choose a particular location. So this Framer form works in real time, so you don't need to worry about any other thing. Also, Framer added this by check stuff that when the user is trying to submit an empty form, it's going to give this message, please select an item in this list. So let's go ahead by applying this effect we added on the first placeholder to other placeholders. We don't want to start from our first by adding and selecting a shadow. We can just do that by copying the first effect. So go down to the effect, right click, you copy effect, select the second placeholder, you go down to the focus, right click, you paste effect, you go down to the last placeholder, you go down to the focus, right click and paste effect. When we preview this, you will see everything nicely appeared on all the placeholders. We can also customize the submit button, so double click to access the component canvas. On the primary color, just add a few color to it, then we select blue. Just make sure it's visible, so something like this would work, and you see it reflected on other placeholder like it works in real time. Let's change the color of the hover state, go down to fill, add a few here, but in this case the hover state is going to be something dark because we don't want the same color of the primary state to be the hover state. Now we have learned how to customize a form. What happens when the user submits a form? Like, where does it go to? You don't need to worry because Framer got that on check. So you go to your properties menu and you will see this send to link. So we have access to add the destination of where we want the submit forms to go to. So you have three options here, either an email, a webhook, or Google Sheets. I don't usually make use of webhook, so I don't really know more about it. But to keep things simple for you and I, email is the best option here. But if you are looking for a very standard and ordered way, I think Google Sheet will solve that for you. But for this case, let's go with email. Due to how often I do make use of these forms in Framer, you will see here that the recipient on default is set to my email. So you can add yours on the recipient or your client email, it's going to work. You have access to change the three last option here. You can change the name, which is where it's coming from, Framer, the subject of the email, new submission, then the body before you see the input of the user. So everything here is set up for you. Then next up, you can add a redirect link. So this can be a thank you page. I already have one set up here. You can see it down here. So it's something simple that I want the user to see after submitting the form. So I can change that, go down to the redirect, add link, then the thank you page is set up there. There's this last input I forgot to add when we're customizing this form, which is a message text box that will give the user access to type in a specific message that we want to receive on our end. So go back, click the plus, add a text input. On the placeholder, go to the properties and change the type to text area. We can either customize the placeholder as enter message. You then change the heading of the label from email to, like, let's go with message. Since we have customized, we have added a redirection link to where we want to receive those forms. Let's go ahead by test running this, but you really have to publish this if you want to try this out. You can go to this link. So so we can access it through the live web. Let's add the registration number. You can add anything random. Let's just go 1234, add an email. Let me go with mine, then select a country. I'm not really in Barcelona, but I'll just choose that. Then I will also check box this subscribe to newsletter. Then the last option here, let's enter a message. So we can go with hello praise. This is good to roll. Then we hit the submit button. So when you click the submit button, it will redirect you to the thank you page that we set up. But what we are really aiming for is, did I really receive this email? Let me check, and you see we have a new submission. Due to I tried this like twice before like doing the main one, you see I have 2 new submissions here. So by selecting the latest one that we did, the registration number 1234, the email, then the email message hello praise, the location that we set it to Barcelona, and the newsletter is set to on because I checkbox that. So now you see how easy it is to create, customize, and integrate a Figma form in real time. So if you're on my channel for the first time and you'd like to see more of these detailed videos, click that like button. Don't forget to subscribe, and see you guys in my next video.